Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Gravestone Review. I'm Scott Blood, and tonight I'm running solo. Time constraints and things like that kind of cropped it down to being just me tonight. But next week we should have Samuel Kilgore back on, and probably one or two special guests from Spring Park. But we'll get to that shortly. Tonight I'm reviewing a movie called Psycho Street. This little movie comes to us from Muscle Wolf Productions, and these guys are definitely on top of their game. I went into this film not really knowing what to expect, not really expecting a lot, considering that it was from a group I hadn't heard of before, or anything else like that. I'd not heard of any of the actors, anything. I ran into the guys at Scarefest. It was the last day. They were closing down. I wanted to get my photo with one of the female actors they had there, who is just absolutely awesome. I'll get more into that in a little bit. But the thing behind Muscle Wolf Productions is I love their tagline. It's loosely bloody babes and beefy guys, because these guys are buff, and they've tapped into a certain area of the horror market that I didn't think they could do. It was a way for them to draw in a lot of females into the gore horror genre. It was really cool. It's just not something you usually really see. But I'm moving off track here. These guys definitely are carving a niche, and they are going to make a big name for themselves as they keep it up. Getting on to Psycho Street. This movie is it's B movie if ever there was one. I mean, this is definitely a low budget flick. It took them, I think, 4 days to actually complete the 105-minute movie. It was released, IMDb says 2011, the disc says 2012. I'll leave that to one of them to maybe post in the comments and let us know for themselves, from them, the actual release date for it. But they were kind enough to give me a Blu-ray and this wonderful poster, both of which were signed by the cast and crew of the guys that were there. Now, Psycho Street itself is an anthology film, which means it's several stories packed into one awesome movie with a culminating end. This particular movie had 5 total segments. You had segment 1, which was Come On Down. It was cut into 2 parts. Part 1 was directed by Patrick Desmond, the other one by Arthur Califer. Apologize if I don't pronounce any of your names right. I'm still working in that area. And this is the basic start of the film where, I'm not going to give any spoilers away to this, but it's the start of the film, the start of the entire storyline, where our main antagonist meets the protagonist of the film. And she tells stories to our protagonist, just these god-awful stories about Psycho Street. It moves into the first story off the main line called Hypochondriac, which was directed by Pete, I believe, Jacalone. Please correct me on these. Just let me know for future reference on any other movies of yours I work on. A doctor from the big city coming to the small town, where he starts meeting the patients, and nothing is really what it should be in this particular clinic, hospital, whatever it is. It's just Antibodies, directed by Patrick Desmond. I don't know if this is an alien story or a straight monster story. And then it moves on to the 4th and final sector of the story called Lewis, which is directed by Anthony Sumner. Lewis is where this thing goes from, goofy, kind of weird and wild gore to just straight fucked up horror all the way through. And these guys spare no expense with the gore. I mean, they go all out. There was actually a segment in the Antibody story, and I've got a pretty strong stomach when it comes to gore movies. But there was a segment in this where it was just disgusting, to the point that I felt nauseous and had to grab a trash can because I didn't know if I was going to be able to keep anything down or not. So, what this movie really is kind of like, as they put it to me, Creep Show with an NC-17 rating. And it lives up to that completely. Like I said, I wasn't going to this expecting a lot, but I definitely got a hell of a lot more than I bargained for. The acting in it, some of it's really good, some of it's kind of subpar. These are guys who are getting into the acting and are learning their way around, and they're doing a really good job with it. The acting is definitely on a couple of different levels, and it does work together for what it is. The writing for these stories was essentially epic. I would say my favorite story from all of them had to have been probably Lewis for the seriousness, but if you want to go for the weird factor, it would have to have either been between Hypochondriac or Antibodies. Those are both just really out there.